I have never felt safer in any country like I feel in Russia.
I'm freezing my balls out.
I remember. Ну, кому я там вру, короче, вот смотрите.
First thing, just grab your gun. Shoot first, question last.
The policeman in America is different.
Это шоу «Короче». Разговорное шоу, в котором мы в юмористическом ключе обсуждаем серьезные темы с людьми, чей реальный жизненный опыт отвечает этой теме. Все это для того, чтобы поделиться своими историями и посмотреть на вопрос со всех сторон. Короче, надо смотреть.
Всем привет, это шоу «Короче». И сегодня у нас особенная тема, во время которой мне, скорее всего, придется перейти на мой кошмарный английский язык. Но у нас сегодня прекрасные гости из разных стран мира, и мы сегодня будем узнавать, как им живется здесь, в России. And we are starting here with, long story short, the foreigners in Russia. Let me introduce my guests today. One of them is my friend. I know him like
For years,
4 or 5 years. It's Tony.
Всем привет.
Знакомьтесь, Тони. Коренной американец. Правда, не из племени Чероки. Архитектор и еще почему-то актер. Серьезно снимался в рекламах. Сам родом из Сан-Франциско. Путешествовал по всему миру, посетил кучу городов и оказался в Москве. Здесь мы его поймали, скрутили и оставили восхищаться.
As my old friend said, we know each other already for a while, so I'm happy to be here with you. Haven't seen you in a while, been traveling a lot, he's been really busy. But yeah, happy to be here, my friend. Good to see you.
I met Tony at Munich.
I was living in Germany while he was traveling there.
Or travel, yeah.
Yeah, so, and then came back to Russia and we've been
To
friends
Mother
since
Russia,
then.
yeah.
To the motherland.
The next one is Jonathan.
Hey everyone, I'm Jonathan. Hello Moscow, hello Russia.
А это Джонатан. Сальвадорец, но американец. Американец, но сальвадорец. Родом из города Ангелов. Ну, это тот, который Лос-Анджелес. Преподаватель английского языка. Отморозил себе все приличные и неприличные места в Красноярске и переехал в Москву. Тут и живет.
Thanks for having us here today. I appreciate that.
Jonathan, where are you from?
I'm from Los Angeles, California, LA.
Cool. And the last one, but those who sitting in my heart,
Вот хорошее начало.
Жак.
Жак. Тут вообще сложно. Жак родом из Камеруна, но вырос и учился в Париже, во Франции, а потом в Москве, в РУДН. Поэтому знает несколько языков, включая русский и русский матерный. За это отдельное спасибо. Живет в России уже 15 лет и до сих пор поражается русским девушкам. Жак, мы им поражаемся всю жизнь, но при этом очень любим.
Hello everybody, my name is Jacques. I'm from Cameroon.
So guys, cool to see you here. I want to discuss with you the main topics which interested all the Russian peoples about foreigners who live here in Russia. So, Tony, how long did you live here?
All right, so I've been here for 6 years. Actually, last week was kind of my anniversary. I moved here the 6th of August. That's when I kind of made it.
6 years?
6 years.
Wow.
Congratulations, man.
Yeah,
Cool.
man.
Yeah.
Woo! I was so impressed about Moscow, about Russia, about their people, the culture. And two things happen. First of all, in America, we don't get this picture. Everything we actually learn ain't any good. Everything is just bad, gray, terrible. So when I first arrived, I was like, wow, like seriously, right? And then I got interesting feedback about, people telling me that this is not how it is in here. It's just work up time. Everyone is a little bit happier. Yeah. I've been a nomad for already like 11 years, 12 years. So I was like, all right, let's check this out. See what is about. Is it true? Is it not true? Is it worth it? And
Is it true that there is a lot of stereotypes in America about Russia?
Oh.
Yeah, a lot, man. It's very
Bees
common
and
out there.
balalaikas.
yeah, sure.
Which is the main stereotype about Russia?
Well, I mean, that they love vodka for breakfast.
Which is not true.
Yeah, it's not true,
Actually,
right?
yeah. But that's not true, and I found that out because I love vodka.
Tastes good on the evening. Yeah.
But that's not such a like a thing here. Like
Yeah,
people
that's
prefer
not the main. I think the beer
beer
is
is the thing here. It's like
main
more
thing
the
here.
Germany style.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah, that's true. They do love beer.
So
A
I will
lot
say
more.
Polish people, they love vodka. They really have it for breakfast. So
The stereotypes. Vodka for the breakfast.
But these are stereotypes from America. We have other stereotypes, you know. I remember I come to Russia, it was like 15 years ago.
15 years.
Yeah, 15 years ago, in
Damn.
2009.
Oh, Lord, that's a long time ago.
Why did you
Yeah.
come here?
To study.
To study.
To study.
If
Yeah,
you
a
want
lot
to
of
know
people
why I
come here to
chose
study,
Russia, if you want to know why I
Yeah,
chose
yeah,
Russia,
majority of people
you can
are-
ask my mother. I don't know.
just saying
She
you.
chose Russia.
She chose it. Not him.
She
It
just
was-
told me
yeah.
like, bro,
Yeah.
tomorrow.
do you
You're
think
fine.
like,
Yeah.
oh, you think
Okay.
here is
Boy,
dangerous?
get on the plane. Good luck.
It was like that. It was like that.
Buy the coat.
Good luck. So, yeah.
So we have other stereotypes. First of all, we was thinking, everybody was thinking like, okay, Russia is a very racist country. Like they don't like black people. I'm telling you what.
Oh, yeah.
Interesting.
What French TV
Telling you, portrayed
telling us.
about.
You
Yeah,
need to tell everybody what you are originally from Cameroon, but you grown up
France.
in France.
Yeah. I was in France.
In Paris.
A lot of time. In Paris. I remember. Ну, кому я там вру, короче, вот смотрите. Короче, когда я приехал в Россию в 2009 году, там была такая штука, короче, нам сказали, что Россия очень жесткая страна, что тут черных вообще не терпят. Вот, короче. И это было то время, когда Россия только выходила из предыдущего времени, из лихих 90-х, когда были скинхеды и вся эта тусовка. И, короче, вот Жак прилетает в Россию, уже вооружен вот
trippy,
таким чувством. So I was thinking like,
No,
people,
I understand everything you said.
So I was like, okay, they don't like us here, but I have to learn how to live here my own way. Like сейчас я найду способ тут выживать. Короче, я выхожу из самолета, парень, который меня встретил, ему дали деньги, короче, чтобы он меня до университета.
Чтобы он довез, да?
Да, довез. То есть у него было $50 на такси. Ну, что он сделал? Короче, мне говорят, ты метро знаешь? Я говорю, блин, я из Камеруна, какой там метро? Он говорит, сейчас я тебе открою метро. Короче, вот, короче, мы сели на метро, едем в сторону Беляева. Но тут, короче, я захожу, метро закрывается, передо мной 2 чемодана. Первый раз встречаю столько белых людей в закрытом помещении, блин. И я тут стою, смотрю, думаю,
Only white people.
я думаю, блин, и еще в голове у меня те стереотипы, которые... Я сейчас думаю, блин, сейчас метро отъедет, меня тут въебут, короче, блин. И, короче, что делаю? Я же не знал, как метро работает, что надо тут держаться за поручни, вот все. Просто зашел, стою. Метро отъехал. И что Жак сделал? Жак упал, короче, вот все.
Упал?
Ну, метро, знаешь, вот эти... Я же не держался. Я упал, короче. И тут передо мной маленькая девушка. Она начинает ржать просто. Она ржет. Я на него так смотрю, думаю, вот я говорю, они ненавидят чернокожих. Вот, прям. Вот. Ну, хотя ситуация была действительно смешная. И тут, короче, я лежу, и 2 чувака подходят. И меня поднимают,
И помогает.
типа нет, вы
And
только
they
приехали,
help you.
да?
To
Да,
stand
только приехал, да, я говорю, да, я говорю, вот хорошо. Когда метро отъезжает, надо держаться за поручни. И вот тут ломается весь стереотип, который у меня был в голове, что тут люди, это просто люди, блин.
Да.
Они встречают тебя
Yeah.
такой, какой ты есть.
People is people
Да.
anywhere, yeah.
И вот я этот первый урок усвоил в тот же день. И я помню даже, когда наш преподаватель на подфак нам сказал, что, знаете, не бывает такое, что люди плохие все, плохая нация или там что. Надо уметь обращаться к определенному человеку определенным образом. То есть есть люди, которые будут тебя любить, есть те, которые не поймут тебя сразу. Я не говорю, что они тебя ненавидят, но не поймут тебя сразу. Вот с ними надо будет как-то найти общий язык. Я вот так живу в России уже 15 лет. Все. У меня очень много друзей. Всем, чем я добился, только благодаря их. Вот, и ты в том числе, я помню нашу поездку на Кипр, One Love. Так что, много еще историй придут впереди.
That's also true. One of the stereotypes I got when I first got here was Russia is really dangerous.
Yeah.
And they don't have technology. Long story short, that's not true. I lived in 14 countries, and I'm gonna tell you something. Technology here is one of the best in the
true,
world,
man.
right?
It's great.
The
out here.
internet here is one of the
lovely.
fastest I ever got for the price. I pay like
Oh,
even
yeah, for the
nowadays,
price
even
is
nowadays,
deal.
which is 2024.
It's a great deal out here.
I pay like $7 for like unlimited internet, super fast, 5G, all the things. You don't get this thing anywhere else in the world. For me, there's something important because I work online and all
Free
this
Wi-Fi.
stuff.
Free Wi-Fi.
You
I
have free
just like
Wi-Fi
free
everywhere.
Wi-Fi.
Yeah. So
It's
all
here.
those things were mind-blowing to me. And that was already happening in 2018. You got into the metro and they have free internet. You got like the bus, they have free internet. They might check your information. Who cares if you need the internet?
Yeah, it don't matter.
In 2018, there was a World Cup here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So but they
Oh,
already
FIFA.
have
They had a FIFA out here.
Sure. And then
Yeah.
the second part was that it was dangerous. I have never felt safer in any country like I feel in Russia.
That's true. And you know what? I actually that's true, man. And I tell that to a lot of my friends and my family back home in LA. And they don't really believe it. And I
Yeah.
tell them they got to come out here and experience it
True,
themselves.
absolutely. So here
And-
is safe as hell. Of course, it's not perfect. Things happen like everywhere. But look, I can sleep here with the door unlocked, and I'm not worried about anything.
Yeah,
Like
that's
that's how safe I feel it here. I can.
Man,
you
my
know,
door's unlocked right now at the
Yeah.
house.
Like-
My dog's in there, but it's unlocked. Yeah?
Women can walk on the street at night. Nothing is gonna happen. You know, they're secure. There's light everywhere. So those two things were absolutely like blow my mind. And I was like, wow. Like I was able to get, and this is 2018. We're talking 6 years ago. Get a SIM card right at the airport. Like for again, it was at that point $10, something like that. And I was already connected, right? Like no problem. I used to get here, blah blah blah. It was so easy that it was hard for me to like understand it was like what's going on. I was like, wait, this is not
To accept that.
Yeah, like this is not what I was told.
Yeah, exactly. It's a whole different story out here, man.
It is a whole
It
different
is.
story.
Yeah, I love it out here because of that. It's one of the reasons why I love living out here in Moscow and Russia itself. You know, I've been out here for 6 years, but before I moved here, I lived in Beijing, China, and that's where I met my Russian wife.
There you go.
Yeah. And
So
then
you have a Russian vibe?
I met her in Beijing, China. We lived out there for like 3-4 years out there. She was there before me.
What's her name?
Her name's Angelina.
Angelina?
Привет.
Love you, baby. Love you. Mwah.
We are losing.
Anyways, so then we came out here, but first I moved to Krasnoyarsk, which is in Siberia. Have you ever been to Siberia?
Yeah, of course.
Oh,
Yeah,
every
man, dude. I lived out there for like 2.5 years, but I got there right in the middle of winter on January 11th, to be exact.
very cold too. Yeah.
Oh my God. Yeah, they told me it was cold, right? So I took a little jacket.
But you can't imagine how much
a little
is
jacket.
cold.
Yeah. I wasn't ready for that, right? I said, I get out the airport, I step out, I just light up a cigarette to smoke a cigarette, right? And 5 minutes later, I'm freezing my balls out there, man. Every day out there, it's like minus 30 degrees.
Oh, shit.
I love
Minus 30 below zero
Yeah.
Celsius. That's freezing balls.
Bro, you feel it in Siberia. I feel the
Oh,
same in
and your
Moscow.
bones hurt. Yeah.
I feel
your
the same in
bones
Moscow.
hurt from the cold.
I got a
You feel
different.
same in
I
Moscow?
feel the same in Moscow, but I will tell how this shit happened. Когда я приехал, короче, в следующий день новый студент в России подумал...
Your first days here.
Я подумал, первый
here in
день...
Moscow, right?
Да, я же студент,
Yeah.
и у нас в Камеруне студент это статус. знаешь.
типа, то
И
есть ты
да, ты же
серьезный.
студент, конечно. И тут я подумал, надо же статус свой как-то подвесить, и тут видите на свет, как, не знаю, Лавров, когда он идет давать интервью. Короче, я зашел в чемодан, надел там свой последний костюм, который у меня там был, знаешь, пиджак, тройка, вот все четко. Сентябрь месяц, 9-й год, на улице даже не минусовая температура, а там была где-то 10 градусов.
2000...
Это
Minus 10.
2009.
That's not bad.
Not minus, it was plus.
Oh, plus
But you know,
10.
in,
Plus 10, yeah.
in Cameroon,
There's summer weather out there.
in Cameroon,
It's a cold winter.
in Cameroon is 10 is not winter, but it's cold.
It's cool.
But here,
It's good. So it was like 10:05. Мы ехали в Ашан за покупками, короче. А я вышел в тот день, как будто у меня защита, не знаю, там, диплома или...
Да, супер красивый,
Блин, супер
наряженный.
красивый, это там, тай, там
Yeah,
все
the
классно.
tie, suit and tie, yeah.
Я вышел, и
Got
мы
the gown.
жили в Руден, короче. И там от Рудена до Ашана 1,5 километра.
И ты пошел пешком.
Мы шли пешком. Мы думали сначала сядем на автобус, но нет, я же был слишком красивый, чтобы сесть на автобус. Надо было, чтобы все увидели. Короче, выходим, идем, и где-то 500 метров доезжаем до кинотеатра «Витязь», я понимаю, что, братан, самое худшее решение в моей жизни я принял в тот день, короче. Держусь все чуть-чуть, держусь, иду. А в то время еще рядом не было много этих магазинов, там были жилые дома. Вот, короче, мы идем, и просто я смотрю, как налево какой-то подъезд открывается, там бабушка заходит, блин. Бегом туда, короче, просто захожу с бабушкой. И захожу, просто сижу, вот так думаю, блин, я никуда не пойду. Вот все, у меня все прям вот, я прям стоял и как, не знаю, как лист бумаги, вот так просто. Это было ужасно.
But here in Moscow, there's a lot of cold winters, but not the same as
in Siberia or
Siberia.
No,
Yeah,
here the
yeah.
winters are lovely.
Yeah.
After experiencing Siberian winter, Moscow winters are lovely, dude.
Yeah, Moscow winter is
yeah.
fun. I mean, we just got this last winter. It was like minus 35, like a whole week.
Yeah,
but it was
yeah.
like unusual kind of thing.
Yeah, that's unusual.
But I
That's
always,
once in like
even for me,
200
even
years
for
or
me,
something like
that's
that,
not
yeah.
normal. But yeah, I always think about, black people in Russia. It's like, man, it should be so hard for you during the winter. and then you see, and then you see all these
You know what I
videos.
learned?
He's like, why you gotta take it there?
I learned one thing.
Which
Have
is
you
better?
experienced that shit when Russian girls,
Yeah.
they really like to take a walk?
Okay,
on-
yeah,
on
that's a
winter.
Russian.
Like, do you want to take a walk? I say yes. Okay, winter minus 50.
well,
You don't have gloves.
same.
It's just let's go. You are going and you're not feeling nothing. Your fingers are dying, bro.
Yeah, exactly.
You have like from your nose something is sweating.
Yeah.
And she's like, do
They-
you love it?
They like to walk, and you're trying not to die.
Yeah,
when you
that's
walk.
one of those Russian things that I'm still not used to. Is like how much people. I think in Russia, mostly in Europe as well, but especially in Russia, how much people and women love to walk here. It's like, let's go somewhere. Okay, bus. You have a good public transportation here.
walk.
Yeah, it's like let's walk. I'm like, why? Like no, we can take bus. We'll be there faster. No, let's walk. Let's enjoy. Don't get me wrong.
It's true, a lot of my coworkers ask me, hey, what you do on the weekend? Oh, I went for a walk with my friends, right?
And it's funny for me because Moscow especially, it has the best public transportation in the world. That's a fact. That's not kidding.
it's so
That's a
bad.
fact. But also, it's
And it's
really
clean.
It's clean. It's
safe,
fast.
it's convenient.
Everything you
Yeah.
could dream of what a public transportation should work. You have it here in Moscow. But it's also really enjoyable walking around the city because the architecture, because how structural the city is. I'm an architect, so I understand how a city development
Tony is
works and all this stuff. So it's enjoyable, but
It is
I
very
still
pleasant.
cannot,
The
do the
European
walking thing. Like
architecture.
sometimes, like let's walk for no reason.
And they have a lot of good parks,
Just you have some thoughts and stuff.
lots.
So yeah, bars are also really good here. No, everything is.
Did you see Park Krasnodar on the south?
Yeah, beautiful.
Park Krasnodar?
The one man, меценат, я не знаю, как будет меценат по-английски.
Is like
Missionary?
Yeah.
Missionary? What? No, missionary.
there's a word
He
in
did say
English.
yeah,
It's
though.
like people who are millionaire playboy.
Who gave money to make the park
Yeah.
by his own money. In my opinion, is the one of the best park in the world.
It's
in
beautiful.
Krasnodar.
Yeah,
Krasnodar, yeah.
It's
On the
huge. They
south,
have like
Not far from the stadium. From the stadium.
that way.
Yeah.
All the
That's,
fountains and
yeah,
all.
yeah.
Yeah, it's absolutely
very beautiful
yeah.
park, in my opinion.
That's the reason why Russian girls are walking.
Oh, yeah?
Parks.
Well, I mean,
the parks
If you
are
close
lovely
all
out
the
here.
parks, you'll start spending your money in a restaurant.
That's
You
true.
just sit
That's
there with
true,
them,
you know?
and it's all.
I mean that's a
I
good
haven't
thing.
been
but-
to that one in Krasnodar, though.
So let's build more parks.
Yeah, it's because I'm from Krasnodar originally.
Ah, you're from Krasnodar.
Originally from Krasnodar, yeah. And I moved to Moscow then I was 16. I think, yeah, I studied here and start to work here. I have here the family, the child, the wife. So the Moscow for me is the second native city, in my opinion.
Maybe we should speak about how girls
Yeah,
are
I want
treated
to.
in Krasnodar.
I want to ask you about girls in common, Russian girls in common.
No, bro, this is another story.
In common, yeah, I think it should be like a episode just for that. But because I think for us, the culture shock when it comes about women is huge.
Yeah?
It's a completely
Why?
different
Yeah.
story.
You know,
how we
it
are
depends.
being, how we grow about women. Like again, I grew up between States and Europe and South America, so it's quite similar over there. I will say
in LA, it's very similar.
Yeah, I will say
especially out there. Yeah, it's
Latin American culture when it comes about women is more similar to Russian culture. Yeah, they're really,
Yeah,
it's really
Tambliżej.
similar about the
Tambliżej.
roles of the feminine.
American?
Yeah,
The values,
yeah. Now, the
the
American,
value-
we
it
are
depends.
in this.
The Western
Yeah.
world have another conception of all that thing.
Yeah, it's more
They are
about
more
we're all the
like
same.
Women are, well,
Like-
not the Western world. I would say like in the U.S. itself.
Oh,
Because there's
Europe's-
different countries, or Europe, right?
Yeah, Europe's the
Yeah.
same right now.
Because
so-
there's different. I lived in many different countries, especially after I left the U.S. And women just have different values in different countries.
Ah,
Sure.
Yeah?
But I think here it got really specific to the point. For me, it was really hard the first 6 months when it comes about women.
Yeah.
I was going dating. I have no problem with dating. It was going marvelous.
Had a lot of
beautiful.
dates.
Yeah,
You
it was
had a
just
lot of
perfect.
dates.
Language barrier. I didn't know what was that. Just Google Translate. That was it. It worked really well. I have no complaints. But then you got to the part like you need to pay for everything, even for
this
the taxi.
thing.
And when you just move here,
Yeah, that's normal for us.
Yeah,
for me, it wasn't a problem
As a
because in
Latino,
Africa we have
I'm a
the same
Latino
thing.
American. For us, it's also
Forcing
normal
is
for
easy.
us.
Well, for me it was
Yeah?
shocking
Yeah.
to the point like I don't know if I want to, I'm really used to like split 50-50. That was, the thing, how I was kind of.
If you
Но ты знаешь, тут тоже есть проблема. Вот в Африке, например, да, как в южных странах, есть такая концепция, где...
В Африке именно?
В Африке и все южные...
Камеруне?
Да, нет, Африка
Вообще
вся.
в Африке,
Вообще
in the
в
whole
Африке.
Africa.
Это и во все южные. Когда я говорю южные, я убираю западные страны. У нас такая концепция, что мужчина должен добиваться как-то женщину. Он должен показать,
Какие-то
что
подарки.
не подарки, но он должен показать, что он предприимчив, что он может сам делать как-то, видишь, да, он может заботиться. И он проявляет свою заботу, убирая от головы женщины вот этих мелких вопросов, как я
Проблемы.
доберусь, что я буду кушать, или вот все эти мелкие вопросы мы их сразу же убираем, берем на себя, это пустяки как-то. Но сейчас в России происходит вот такая проблема. Девушки местные взяли всю эту концепцию южную, когда мужчина должен заботиться о женщине, приумножили ее на 100 и убрали их ответственные моменты, которые их мамы и бабушки знали всегда.
Да.
То есть они все это убрали и оставили себе только вот эту красоту, там где я же девушка. Блин, это
давай
полная фигня сейчас.
Давай так, не все девушки.
Я же не
всё
буду.
правильно.
Ну, смотри, когда я говорю все девушки, я скажу, когда ты сейчас смотришь какие-то ролики в
Вот эти
интернете,
нет, ролики
это
в Инстаграме.
единственное, что сейчас пропагандируют.
Да.
Но рядом же мы живем с другими девушками.
Да,
и даже
да.
те, которые там говорят, пожалуйста, они говорят одно на камеру.
А в жизни совершенно...
А в жизни, пожалуйста, там в Залупе, в этом, там в Ховрино, где они живут, блин, там совсем все по-другому, понимаешь?
Всем подписчикам из Ховрина привет.
Блин, у меня подруга из Ховрина меня убьет что-то.
I want to ask Jonathan. So you met your wife in Beijing.
Yeah, we met in
and,
Beijing.
And after that,
Okay, from Beijing, we moved to Krasnoyar, Siberia. And then we lived out there for like 2.5 years.
and what's your impressions about Krasnoyarsk?
About Krasnoyarsk, Krasnoyarsk, it's a whole different world. I mean, Moscow, they say Moscow is a whole different world than Russia itself, right? But in Krasnoyarsk, I got to experience like, let's say, I felt like I got to experience like both worlds of Russia.
Yeah,
you know?
yeah.
Because they're like, you have the old school Soviet style housing and architecture that's still out there. You know, like big wooden houses. There's a lot of them out there. Buildings that are like prehistoric sites that can't be touched, right? And then the other side of the city is like modern Russia. You see modern new cities, modern buildings, and you know, it's a whole, so you got to experience both worlds, right? The only down part out there was that there's very seldom people that speak English or Spanish, you know, or Chinese. Oh, actually, there's a lot of Chinese out there too. You know? Yeah, there's a lot of Chinese out there. Yeah.
And how about people there? The Russian people.
Oh, you see, the Russian people there, let's say, they're very serious, you know?
And they're not
Serious,
smiling.
like what?
It seems, I don't know what it is, right? Maybe it's the weather, maybe it's the air. You know, there's the thing about the air out there.
Yeah,
It's like
the weather
very
is
polluted
very
out
special.
there. You know, it's very polluted out there. There's a lot of pollution, especially in the
Yeah,
winter.
in Krasnoyarsk,
I remember my first trip to Krasnoyarsk. We was in the plane, and the pilot said that today the weather is very great, so you will enjoy it. We have minus 28. So I was like, what? So for them, minus 28. You know, in winter is like good weather. You can take a walk with your friends.
Yeah, it is. So I'm telling you, it's like a normal day out there, winter, like minus 30.
Yeah.
And I'll be like, I'll tell my friends, God damn, it's minus 30 today. They'd be like, oh, it's normal. I'm like, normal? Okay. I mean, I went like 3 pairs of socks. After like 2.5 years, when I got my permanent residency, like the VNJ, right? We decided to move out here to Moscow. And then, you know, Moscow was a whole different world.
Yeah.
You know, it made me fall in love with Russia itself.
Moscow is like another Russia.
Yeah, it's a whole different world out
it's
here.
Very different.
No,
but all the whole
But it's still Russia.
Yeah,
it's
of
a
course,
different part of what Russia is, but it's essential part of everything is connected, because that's something I got a lot. So when I first moved here, I used to say, I love Russia. And a lot of people just correct me, Russians, like, you don't love Russia. You love Moscow, and Moscow is different from the whole Russia.
Yeah,
This
it's
is-
true. You know, it's true.
So
yeah,
this
that's
comment
true.
got me really annoyed after a few months. So I decided to travel around Russia. And even though it's different, like LA is different from Kansas, like San Francisco is a whole new story
it's a
from,
whole world, yeah.
from LA. Like people like San Francisco, and I say, oh my God, you're from San Francisco, it's so nice and warm over there. I'm like, no, we don't have that weather. San Francisco is
that's
the
LA
cold,
weather.
the cold California part
Yeah,
is
that
like
it's cold out there,
windy,
it
it's
snows out there.
rainy. We have like a week of sunny weather, and everyone is like, oh my God. Every day else is just shitty weather. So it's the same thing. Of course, those cities are different from the rest of the country, but they still feel connected by culture, by architecture, by people. Yes, some of them develop faster than the others. Once again, you can go to San Francisco, we have the Golden Gate. Tell me where you get that everywhere else in America, right? It's just the same dynamic in every country, but everyone here is always like, Moscow is not the same. It's not even like Russia. It is Russia.
No, I think it's not the same, but it's similar.
True.
Yeah.
But again, the comment is always, is not even like Russia.
Yeah.
It's always you get this comment. So that encouraged me, like, all right, I'm gonna travel. So I travel a lot. And as I said, it's connected. It's the same. It's more developed. The same thing is
you
more.
know what?
LA is
Usually I hear that from that part about Moscow. It's a different world than the rest of Russia is. But I usually hear that like outside of Moscow itself, from the people themselves.
Yeah.
You know, like in Krasnoyarsk, the people themselves would tell me like, hey, Moscow's a different world than what it is out here in Siberia. You know?
Well, it's the same thing. Like, I'll give you a short example. I live in Maryland, Baltimore, one of the oldest cities in America. And for them, New York was a different world. That some people there is just 4 hours away by train.
I lived in Boston for like 2 years, and Boston was a whole different world than LA.
Exactly.
You know? Everything, like in every aspect, you know, the people, the environment, the safety, everything in every way. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like a countryside and main
Exactly.
cities.
No, big cities, but they're both big cities.
uh,
LA and Boston, they're both big cities. You know, but it's just whole different.
Yeah.
I know
vibe,
about Boston.
whole different
yeah.
people. Yeah.
I mean, that's like in America, there are a countryside, there are big cities, and there's a huge difference between the parts
Yeah, that's
of
true.
country.
That's
Like here,
just
there's a small
like in Russia,
cities,
you know,
big
it's very-
cities. Moscow is the biggest city. Yeah.
So we are more similar than we think. The countries are more
lot of
similar than
similarities,
we
yeah.
think. We just don't see it. We just get this impression like this and that. It's just
What's the most similar things
Similar
between
thing.
Russians and Americans?
There are Russians everywhere. These-
Yeah.
So there,
Like Chinese people, yeah.
don't worry about it.
there are Russians everywhere. Well, that's a funny story. I never met any Russian in my life.
Yes?
Oh man, I had lots of Russian
I
friends
never
in
met
LA.
any
Maybe because
Russian
you just don't know that they
I
are
met a lot of
Russian.
Russians
Well,
in China,
probably,
too.
but I never met any Russian. I mean, you were like when I met you, but I was already in Russia before, so I already knew
Until
about
you-
Russia. Yeah. But
Блин.
before coming to Russia, это правда.
брата.
So maybe you're Russian. Jonathan is Russian.
Maybe
We
he's
don't know.
Russian
Maybe
here.
we are.
We
Russian
don't know.
agent who is
Yeah,
here.
yeah,
I'm
maybe.
from San Francisco, de Tula, bro. Я знаю, конечно.
My name is
Тобольск.
Jonathan.
Jonathanovich.
Jonathan. Не, Иван тогда. Jonathan, it's the Russian name Ivan. John, Ivan.
Oh, yeah.
It's,
Oh, really?
That's the same
Wow.
name.
Yeah, that's
Ivan? Yeah.
that's one of those things in Russia that really funny is like in America or in South America, names are names and that's it, you know? There's really few names that change like Anthony, like Tony, but it's like 2 or 3. But here everyone has a nickname.
Yeah.
Everyone.
No, it's not like a
women
nickname.
are all women are Sasha and all men are Dasha kind of thing, right? So everyone changed and everyone has a nickname here. So sometimes
That's short name.
It's just
Yeah,
short.
what's the
It's
nickname?
from your name, you know.
Yeah.
Nickname is more.
Well, not even sometimes from your name. Sometimes it's just literally a whole different like nickname. And they said, yeah, that's the you know the short form
For
of this.
example.
Yeah.
For example,
Tell you
Dasha,
because
Sasha, Pasha, Stesha, all that is from the name.
No, those yeah.
Like for
Yes.
example, for
Dasha
me one
is
that
Daria.
for me the one that doesn't really
Dasha
make
is
sense is
Daria.
like Sanya and Susha. In
Susha.
America, those are like two
Yeah,
separate
for
names.
example,
Two separate persons.
You know, they're
Evgeny-
two separate
El-
names, two separate girls.
Ksenia and Ksusha.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they're two separate girls, you know? Or like Sophia and Sonia. It's like,
And Sofa.
in
Yeah.
It's the
Different
same.
things.
Yeah, it's the same
It's
person,
like-
different names, but in America it's like two different ladies. Yeah, one is Sonia, one is Sophia. And there's no nicknames for one or the other, you know what I mean? So those are like things that still surprise me to this
Yeah.
day. Yeah, especially like Valerie.
And Lira.
Oh yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Valerie,
It's-
Valerie. It's
Valerie
like
is
a guy-
Lira.
It's like
a guy's name, I
yeah,
know.
but for us at least that's not connected in that way. Like Evgenia.
Yeah.
That for
You
me
know why?
that are two different
know why?
names.
Because-
so if you talk to me like a lot of times we're talking about the same person and they start saying like Evgenia, and then I really truly think we're talking about two different people.
Yeah, I hear you on that, man.
Do you know why? I think this is Slavic conception. You know, they did at first. They had some names and they make this kind of nick to
Oh, yeah.
make it more soft.
That's fine. It's
But
just
now
for
the
us
thing
it's
is
hard.
that in USA you have a lot of Slavic people and рядом с ними другие нации совсем.
Yeah,
Они там,
Caucasians,
yeah,
yeah.
and you have a lot of Caucasian,
Yeah.
and maybe you have also some British
Yeah.
who are now citizen
Yeah,
of
course.
USA.
Everybody.
И со временем они как-то привыкают жить друг с другом. Британец услышал там, как звали девушку, там, Ксюша, да? Он только Ксюша. Он там услышал Ксюшу и подумал, хорошее имя, у меня будет дочь, я ее назову Ксюша. А он не знает, что Ксюша на самом деле
Что это сокращенное.
это Ксения. Поэтому для него Ксюша это будет совсем другой человек. А славянин знает, что Ксюша твой, извини, брат, это Ксения. Видишь? То есть это просто потому, что человек не понял, откуда бралась Ксюша, откуда бралась Лера. Это как Маша тоже.
Yeah, but I think that's something is really hard to get for us. We're, like those are one of those cultural shocks that it will.
It's all about
live
culture.
forever.
It's all about culture. You
Yeah,
can
but that's
now
what
learn
I'm
it.
saying.
You
But-
can now learn
Yeah,
it,
it's
and you
all
will
about
explain to
culture,
them.
that's true.
But for them, it's just like
True. That's what I'm saying. That's one of those things that's gonna live forever. Like, regardless of how good I can get at the culture and all the stuff, because I try that. Like, most of my friends are Russians. Like, 90% of my friends are Russian. Lately, I have more, expats, friends and stuff like that for different reasons. But my first, 4 years, I only knew Russian people.
Yeah.
But even
It's,
though...
it's because of not so many foreigners here in Russia.
True.
Oh, there's a lot, dude.
Yeah?
All my friends are
But you have
foreigners.
to enter the community.
There's a lot. I work with a lot of
When
friends.
I was
every
in-
day.
community.
Yeah,
when I was
huge.
when I was studying in Rudian, in Russian
Yeah,
people,
yeah, that's-
there we have a
that's
community of different countries. We have like 180 countries in the same
Oh,
place.
that's a
We are
lot,
all studying
yeah.
together.
It's because of university. Ruden
Yeah.
is the university which
International.
names the it's like
In behalf of
Russian
Patis
University
Lumumba,
of
People friendship.
friendship nations.
People friendship. We call it,
Yeah,
we call it
friendship.
people friendship.
So and there's a lot of nations in that university.
Yeah, that's true. I live right down the street from it. Yeah.
And we study a lot about how to live together with other nations.
У меня есть вопрос. The first question again about stereotypes. In your opinion, the people said about like the Russian people was grumpy, not smiling. Is that true?
I have a really interesting thought about this. And look, we come from a country where we call this sugarcoating.
Yeah.
So everything is sugarcoat, everything is happy, smiling, and it's the
No, you're
fakest
smiling,
thing for
anytime.
everything,
Everybody's
right?
happy.
We don't mean what we're saying. So one thing I found in Russia that I really, really like is that people is real, authentic,
Real, yeah.
So they don't need, because you cannot be smiling the whole time. It's impossible, regardless. It could be because of the weather, even during summertime, by psychology, people cannot be happy all the time and can be grumpy even with good weather or bad weather, regardless. But just Russian people are authentic and they show how they feel. And that's
Yeah,
it.
you can
And that
read
comes
by the
to
face.
one thing that for me is being one of the driving factors of living in Russia is how that builds friendship. I feel like the friendships that I have in Russia are the most real ones I ever had, right? Because with Russians, either you're a friend or you're not.
Or you're not, yeah.
They like you or they don't like you, and that's fine.
Yeah,
You
yeah.
gotta live with that, right?
Yeah,
So
yeah.
they're not like sugarcoating, like, no, if they don't want to be with you, they don't want to be with you, which is really good because you don't waste your time on those people.
Yeah, to keep it real.
Exactly.
100.
You
Yeah.
keep it real. And I found that absolutely amazing. Like, I actually can, if I go back to America, for me, it's going to be really hard. The last time I was in America was 4 years ago. And I was already struggling with the, hi, hello, how are you? And like, I know you don't mean any of those questions, right? While here, you don't say that unless I ask you, and if I ask you, it's because I'm really interested in how was your day, how are you doing, right? And that comes to that part, like, you don't need to be smiling. It's not that you're grumpy, it's that you're going by your day.
Yeah.
That's it.
It means I'm a real person.
Yeah, but again, I don't know. That's the feeling I have. So I like it. I have no problem with that. I think, if you have problems, you got it in your mind, you're in the metro thinking about it. I don't expect anyone to be smiling at me all the time. But I found that, like, look, I've been, I was in the metro once and an old lady came to me and, like, it was really funny to me. She's like, "You're not from here, are you?" And I was like, "How do you even know?" Because, look, if I go to Turkey, everyone thinks I'm Turkish. If I'm in Italy, everyone thinks I'm Italian because my mom is like... And once after I met you, actually, I tried to say I was Russian. And no one ever believed me. And then I was like, "I'm Russian." Like, "No, you're not."
No.
I'm like, "God damn it."
How did you spell it? What you're Russian? You spell it in Russian or in English?
No, I said it in English. Like, "Where are you from?" And like a conversation with foreigners, like, "I'm from Russia." And they're like, "No, you're not."
No,
I'm like,
not.
"Damn it." But then I realized here that people can notice that you're not from here. And they're really nice at you. Like, people are not grumpy. They just don't know you. And once they get to know you, they're really, really nice at you. Don't get me wrong. We all have bad experience, like in every other place, in every other country. But people here are really nice once they talk to you. Of course, if you're a foreigner, they're a little bit nicer, like, oh my God, why are you here? Why Russia? It's crazy. They don't kind of understand, so they're really curious about this. But I think that's not a stereotype, it's reality. And I think it's a good reality.
Jonathan, what do you think about it?
Well, you know what? I always thought that they were like a little bit serious, but whenever I would like make eye contact with people, whether it was on the bus or the subway, right? I would always try to smile at them to see if I would get like that vibe back or to change that frown to a smile, right? But most of the times, people would always smile back. And then a lot of my, like I'm a teacher, right? A lot of my students would tell me, hey, you know what?
You're an English teacher.
Yeah, I'm an English teacher out here. And so they would tell me, hey, what do you think about Russian people? Always serious. I was like, well, actually, if you smile at them, they smile back. They're like, no, they don't. I was like, yeah, they do. They smile all the time right back at me. You know, they're like, oh man, you're lucky. It's probably because you're a foreigner.
Because you're foreign. That's
you
the
know,
always
like,
answer.
Yeah, that's what they always tell me. It's because you're a foreigner. I was like, yeah, that's probably why, you know? But the way I look at it is like, maybe people just got their own lives going on, you know what I mean? They got their own lives going on and they got certain things, the way I look at it is like, they're on a mission, you know? And their mission is to, whatever it is they need to do to get by, you know what I mean? So that's why they're like focused and they're serious all the time, you know what I mean? So that's the way I look at it, yeah? So, but most of the times they're very friendly, whether, I've never had like a bad encounter with people. Like if I ever needed help out in public, when I get lost, they've always been helpful, you know?
Yeah,
always.
Yeah, true.
Even with the police, you know? Even with the police out here. And something in America, you see the police in America, you run. I mean, you see the police. Here, I see them, I go up to them and I ask them for help. Like my first time in Moscow, I got lost. I went up to the police, the first person I asked, they said, oh, yo no понимаю. And then the second person I asked, oh, я не понимаю по-английски. I'm like, oh, damn. So then I'm like, okay. I get off the train, I go straight to the first police officer I see, and I ask them in English, hey, can you please help me find this place? And he was so kind and polite in English. Yeah, the whole time he spoke to me in English, showed me, gave me directions and told me where to go. Yeah. And that's something that, you know, for us especially.
And you
America.
think the policeman in America is different?
Oh,
I'm not from USA.
Let's not start.
You're lucky you're not.
Yeah, that's
I just can tell one thing.
Yeah, I mean,
Я никогда не был виктим, ну, как-то на прямом, вот так, вестимом расизма. На прямом.
Никогда не
no,
было.
no, that's a different topic.
Первый раз.
That's a different topic, though,
but,
yeah,
but I just want to say
yeah.
about mood and where and how.
Yeah.
The first time I feel it, do you know where it was? In Paris.
Oh,
in the
man.
train.
Yeah, but that's Europe.
The
right?
racism.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, in
In
LA.
I was victim
It's in
in
Europe.
the
It's
train
still
in Paris.
like
So I'm
It's the
living in
West.
Russia 15 years.
Yeah, I mean,
I go to France to see my uncle. Get on the train, was going to my cousin's home, and I bought a ticket. Like the guy come and start yelling at me like, yeah. I say, what's happened? He say, if you don't like it, you have to go back to your country. I say, bro, you know what I did? I stopped speaking French. I switch in Russian. When I switch in Russian, the guy was like, hey, who is
everyone-
this shit, bro?
everyone
I
everyone's
started
afraid of
yelling
the
it
Russian.
in Russian. I say, I'm in your country for 2 days, just 2 days, and you are doing some shit that I've never seen. I've been in Russia like 10 years. Nobody did it to me, and I'm here. The second day I'm here, and you see what you are? And I was saying all that in Russian. He didn't understand nothing, but I'm sure that when I see his eyes, the guy was like, whoa, who is this guy?
Yeah, but the police topic is complicated, you know, without getting into the weeds of it. But over there is not something you go and ask for help and they're going to be friendly and nice. They are over authoritarian with, you know, with the law. They feel like they are above everyone else and you got to plead to them, basically,
Bow
kind of
down,
thing. In Russia, there's not like that. maybe also you get the foreigner part, what they don't want to.
Maybe it's because of guns in America, but you can.
Well, you don't.
Of course.
Yeah,
Carry them
and
all the
the
time.
policemen are afraid of some person who watched the TV series with Nathan Fillion. He's a new guy who go into police. Yeah. And I was shocked because they use guns. Any situation, they use guns. Say stop to someone, and if the person
Well,
doesn't
man.
stop,
Yeah.
they can shoot.
Yeah, that's
They think they don't even come at you peacefully in any situation
Yeah.
or any occasion at all.
Is
You know,
this-
the
that's
first thing
right.
they always think, the first thing that comes to their mind automatically,
It's
it's they're
just-
trained. They're already trained. Their mind is already trained that
Yeah.
way. You know, first thing, just grab your gun. Shoot first, question last. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You know what
So
I mean?
true.
Yeah, it's so true. That's the way. That's actually like one of their models out there.
Yeah,
you
that's
know?
awful.
Like shoot first, question last. You know?
Yeah.
And-
So yeah, here police is quite friendly. I mean, you got lucky the first time you got an English police
Yeah.
officer because I only got that one once, and after a few years,
It was the same officer. yeah.
probably, but especially
The one in the Moscow, yeah.
the officers that speak English, they're mostly or only around the Reds or like at the city center, which is more of the tourists are. So that's where you can find those. When
Yeah,
you get
the
a late,
sightseeings.
yeah. Once you get out of there, none of them speak any English. So like it happened to me a few times. Like they stop you, show me your documents, which is fine. Normally it doesn't really happen, but when it happens, I like show them my ID because I just carry on my driver license. So I show them and like they notice it's a different language, and they just like go away.
Yeah,
Like
yeah, yeah.
they don't even bother you anymore.
Но тут также контроль, полис контроль. Ну смотри, например, во Франции, да, когда видят иностранцев, их контролируют часто. Там полицейские, когда видят иностранца, они сразу идут контроль, там бумаги твои, там что-то там. Я живу в России 15 лет. Меня контролировали максимум 4 раза. С учетом, что я вижу полицейских постоянно.
За 4 года тебя
За
максимум
15
остановили.
лет меня
За
остановили. Вот
15
так
лет
на
4
улице,
раза?
что я иду пешком, и просили там мои документы. Но это было всегда, когда какие-то ситуации шли рядом, и там было непонятное там что-то.
Когда
А вот-
проверяли всех подряд, условно.
А меня стали чаще проверять, когда я стал водителем. Но там, например, когда они останавливают там всех подряд, да, и просят документы. И только тогда, и даже там не просят паспорт мой. Они всегда хотят что? Документы от машины
Yeah, yeah.
и водительские права.
They
Никто
do
там
not
не говорит.
interesting your
То есть-
skin,
Skin тут
your
не-
occupation, yeah. They-
Да, в России есть паспортные, ну, когда они там проверяют, ну, когда их
Паспорт
прям
контроль.
целенаправленно отправляют в какое-то здание, где очень много мигрантов, они туда идут и проверяют.
да, yeah, migration service, yeah.
Да, но вот так, что постоянно на улицу, что на улице тебя будут там каждый второй полицейский проверять, такого в России
So
нет.
there is no racism in Russia.
No, I mean,
No,
they-
there-
look,
nobody can say that
they
there is
are-
no.
Yeah,
So the
There is
answer, yeah,
Less than.
lesser
A
than-
lot
the
less.
answer cannot be no
Yeah.
because it is just comes to people at the end. This is not
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
like whole country. It just
Different-
comes about
Yeah.
a specific people.
Yeah, it's not the whole country.
There is racism in few ways. Like I'll say, for example, you are a Mexican American, right?
Oh, Salvadorian American.
Salvadorian American.
Yeah.
So I'm Colombian American,
Yeah.
right? So
And
some-
Russian American.
So Russian American. So what happened is in our case, if I go back to America and I start speaking with like an accent, everyone thinks like, oh, do you speak Spanish? So you're Mexican. That's the other part. We believe that
sure.
everything in the South is Mexico.
Everybody Latino
Yeah,
in
Latino
America
is Mexico. There is no.
No matter where
No-
you're
no
from.
matter where you're
Yeah, no matter
Mexican.
where your family's from.
Well-
You're all Mexicans.
Yeah, it's because they don't know
Yeah.
anything else. You tell them Colombia and then Colombia, like because they think about Colombian state, right?
State.
Like, so it's like they know you're Mexican. So they start already like, kind of you're Latino, you're not from here. Like in Baltimore, it happens a lot, especially because what are you doing here? Like this is Maryland, the Marylander people, so to speak. And here is something similar. Again, not as big as over there, but especially with people that come from, all the the stands, Uzbekistan, Kazakhstan, because it's a lot of migrants from there.
Yeah. Yeah,
So
because of migrants.
yeah, so it gets the point like, okay, you know, a lot of things happen because of this, but it's not racism like we don't like you because you are from there and you have that color skin. No, it's not.